Disclaimer: this is not actually Nicolas Cage, just an impersonator. All words said are not reflective of any true person. This channel is a result of two super fans of Nicolas Cage getting together to celebrate the best actor in the world.
Hi there, my name's Rose, and I'm here sitting down with Fantasynicolascage.
How's it going, guys?
We're going to do a live interview here, and I just want to remind you all that this is unscripted, unedited, and this is our first interview of hopefully many to come. So we're going to start here. How's it going, Nicolas
We'll
Cage?
see how that goes first.
Right.
Yeah.
How's it going, Nicolas? Or would you prefer to be called Nick?
For now, I don't know you that well. I prefer Mr. Cage. So let's just go with Mr. Cage. As far as your question goes, it's a doozy. Let me think. You know, you get asked that question all the time. How are you doing? But how often are you actually thinking about how you're doing? And yet people answer so quickly. I'm gonna take my time on that one. I'm good, Rose. How are you?
Good. I'm glad to hear you're doing well. I'm just a huge fan of you, and I'm really excited to have this interview.
Right.
And I guess I'll just start off by asking.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I'll start off by asking. You've done so many films over the years, quite a variety of films,
Yeah.
and I just want to ask you, what got you?
Hold on one second.
Oh, okay. Is that a lunch pail?
Yeah, it's my lunch pail. You don't mind, right? Cool,
Sure.
thanks.
Go for it.
Oh, God. You know, I feel like... What were you going to ask me?
Anyway, I was just asking you, you know, you've done so many films over the years,
Right.
Quite a variety, and what really gives you that motivation to keep on creating, to keep on making, to keep on choosing different roles?
Mm-hmm. Well, I can tell you as an Academy Award-winning actor that the fun in acting, the reason I do it is not for money like a lot of people think, which actually brings me to why I'm doing this podcast, whatever that is. Is this even going to go on the radio?
It's a podcast.
Okay, whatever. You know, kids aren't reading those newspapers anymore. They're not reading the articles. They're on their newspaper.com or whatever reading their news. It's not the same. They're getting their news from things like this, like the podcast.com or whatever. And so I'm here to show the young kids of America and the world, really, that I am more than just that meme and that face. What was your question?
Why don't we just move on to another question?
Okay.
So you have your character Joe,
Right,
versus
yeah.
your character Castor from Face Off.
Yes.
And
Two of my favorite roles, actually.
which is kind of funny you say that,
Right.
because they're almost the complete opposite.
Yes.
You know, you have Joe
Excuse me. In the movie Face Off, for example, I was an actor playing a person playing someone else, and that's just a level that even actors you don't see in movies these days. And that movie is seen as a pseudo comedy, really, when in fact the acting is hidden behind that title, and the acting is phenomenal, if I do say so myself. Where you see the movie Joe, that was just me being Nick. I was out there. I was saying what Joe does is what Nick would do. You know, if I wasn't an actor, I think I would be out in the woods like that.
Okay. So Mr. Cage, you know, when these movies premiere, do you go to the premieres? Do you like watching yourself on television?
You know, I do like watching myself on television. I used to, rather. Now it's mostly with the jokes and this is new about Nicolas Cage and, you know, my recent relationship issues.
Right.
So most of the time I don't like that because the news in general is just kind of a negative source. Excuse me. What I do like is to watch old movies that I... hold on, I'm gonna go use the bathroom real quick.
Hi guys, we're here back with Mr. Cage, as he likes me to call him. for now, right? So, back to your whole...
By the way, your bathroom is beautiful, I must say.
Thank you. We do have a wonderful staff that cleans it, is on top
Thank
of it
you.
all the time.
Thank you.
So I was saying, Mr. Cage.
Right.
You did mention, your recent relationship issues, and kind of want to know how are you feeling? How are you doing right now?
I've got a question for you, actually.
Yes.
Who are you dating right now?
Who am I dating?
Yes.
I have a boyfriend right now.
Okay. And did you like me asking you that question?
Not really.
Why are you asking me that question?
Well, I'm interviewing you, Mr. Cage.
Okay, well, let's just draw the line right there in pencil or in,
Okay.
in what the listeners are using, probably crayon.
Personal relationships off topic.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes.
Does that include kids?
Who, Cal-El or Weston?
Oh, well, I wanted to ask.
They're both just wonderful boys.
Yes. I do so say myself, Cal-El is just adorable.
Isn't he?
All right. How do you feel being a grandfather?
Well, it's pretty great. Having a grandfather. It is a little weird being the grandfather of a child who's very similar in age to a child that I have. It's kind of like the movies I did when I was younger. It's like that's part of my life. That's a chapter, if you will. And then I've got this new chapter where I'm trying to be more progressive, and I feel like Kal-El represents my life pretty well like that. Even his name does, of course, the original name of Superman.
All right. So we're going to move on to a question by some of our listeners.
Okay.
Now we're going to do this segment called Question of the Day. And
wonderful.
this is straight from our listeners.
Okay.
So the question here, anonymous, and he says, or she says, Mr. Cage, if you could have any job besides being a Hollywood actor or writer, what would you be?
Oh, it's tough to think of that. I've known since I was about 3 months old that I wanted to be an actor, and so I haven't really thought of what else I would be. Even at the low points in my career, I thought, I'm an actor. And after my Academy Award that I won back in 1996, I haven't looked back. I only see myself as an actor. However, if I had to have another job, for example, if acting for some reason became an extinct art, God help us, I would probably be, an outdoorsman, someone who mapped the wilderness with pencil and pen like the old days.
Okay, kind of like Joe.
Yeah, kind of like Joe.
Which you did mention that, Joe is just Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons I actually took that role was the seduction's the wrong word, but it's also the perfect word. The seduction towards the role of being myself as I want to be. If you could be as good of an actor as I am and live that lifestyle, if those were possible to be side by side, I would do that. But, now I'm just a man who lives in Las Vegas.
Very nice, Nick. So you live in Las Vegas,
yes.
And you jumped to, New Orleans to Los Angeles.
Such a beautiful city.
I know we see a lot of...
New Orleans.
We see a lot... Sorry, Nick. We see a lot of paparazzi here in Vegas, and noticing that you do have a favorite breakfast little area, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, you mean out in Las Vegas?
Yeah, the Cracked Egg. Tell us more about that.
God. Their huevos rancheros are phenomenal. I would tell you, well, I just better not see anyone else there, but the chef there, he has this pan that he uses, and when you're heating up the pan to cook something, it gives a different flavor to the food. And so every time I go there, I always get the first huevos rancheros of the day.
Excuse me, did you say first huevos rancheros?
Yes, the first huevos rancheros of the day. So, for example, if that pan's been used to make other huevos rancheros, I'm not interested. It's a completely, excuse me. I wasn't done. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
It's a completely different meal.
Oh, so you have to basically be the first customer, because you never know if someone's gonna order huevos rancheros.
Yeah, and that's actually quite inconvenient for me, believe it or not. I've spent hundreds of dollars at that restaurant over the years, and the chef isn't willing to take his huevos rancheros off the menu, which of course entices other customers to order it and perhaps order it before me, which, as I said, is unacceptable.
Oh, I see, Nick. So, sorry, Mr. Cage.
Thank you.
And so we're almost down here. One last question. So, you're an actor. What do you see yourself doing in 15 years? Do you see yourself moving into a different type of acting, different stage?
Different stages?
Different stages of acting.
Okay.
I know, you're known for your Baroque style of acting, and then you transition to sort of a Western kabuki style.
Someone's done their research, okay.
So I'm just wondering, what's next for Mr. Cage?
Well, life is evolution, and we all change in different patterns and different intensities. I like to think that I'm quite a different person in terms of personality, not acting skill, that I was when I was much younger. And what's next for me? Well, if I knew, then it wouldn't be next, would it?
Very true, Nick. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Hopefully you liked the interview and the podcast. And we will definitely be doing more of these, and we'll see you soon. Any final words, Mr. Cage?
Excuse me. Let's see, final words. A eulogy of the podcast, if you will. It was great. Thank you.
Thank you. See you soon.
All right.
Bye-bye. Hey guys, this is Rose. I hope you enjoyed the podcast interview we did. This was our very first one, and we are open to any comments, questions, suggestions, any sort of feedback. We really want to make this work, and we're trying our best to improve it. Also, you can leave any questions you have for the next interview that I can ask Fantasynicolascage. We will greatly appreciate them. And like I said, shoot us an email, shoot us a comment, and we'll see you next time.